Hey students, this is Mr. Anderson. I'm the career and college counselor here at CV, and I'm going to talk about one of the most important topics in this workshop, and that's how to be future ready. One of the things that we talk about as we go through career lessons at CV is about planning for your future and how to choose careers. So that trying to find that vocational purpose is really important. And one of the things that I want you to focus on is it's not just about trying to find a career or about trying to find that direction. It's really about finding your vocational purpose. Now, I think it can be really fun to talk about the existential conversation around your purpose in life, but we're not going to really dig into that here. If you ever want to have a conversation about the meaning of life or epistemology or those philosophical conversations, I really enjoy those. However, what we're talking about here really is about vocational purpose. And let me talk about how we at CV kind of approach that topic. And that's in a topic called Ikigai. It's a Japanese concept about your reason for being, about a goal in life. And this concept of Ikigai can be applied to trying to find that vocational purpose, where you're trying to find how all these things come together, specifically what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you can get paid for. So we show a diagram similar to this in our career lessons. But when we talk about you trying to find your purpose, that vocational purpose, we're talking about you trying to find a career that will match those things that you love, meaning your interests, things that you're good at, meaning your skills, things that the world needs, meaning job availability and job growth, or things you can get, you can make a good living at according to your lifestyle. So, what you can get paid for. And one of the things that we always talk about is if it's not something you love, you're most likely going to be miserable in your job every day. If it's not something you're good at, you're going to get fired because you're not good at it. If it's not something you can get paid for, then that's primarily what you would do in volunteer work or something in the evenings, kind of a passion area, but not really your vocation. And if it's not something the world needs, you're going to be unemployed because there are no jobs out there that match that. It really is important to find your purpose, this ikigai, this vocational purpose, using all of these concepts. I know it can be tough to think about all of it together, but it's important. So when you can find where all of those things intersect for you, is how you can be future ready. So let's talk about that big picture, about what does it take to be future ready and to bring all those concepts together. How do you do that? Well, one of the things that I want you to understand is your dreams do matter. Those things that you've always dreamed of doing, but the reality also matters too. So it's not something that you can just say, well, I've always dreamed of being since I was a little kid, this, whatever it is, fill in the blank. Unfortunately, now that you're close to pursuing that vocational purpose, you need to take a different approach at it. Number one, you need to be honest with yourself. You need to look at the areas of your life, your skills, your abilities, your desires and passions, your drive, your work ethic. You need to look at all of those things before you really make a determination on what you're going to pursue for a career. One thing that I would also encourage you to do is tell your family to be honest with you. Tell your friends to be honest with you. Because sometimes just because something you're really passionate about wanting to go into a career, sometimes your family or your friends can look at how you live your life and they can say, you know what, that doesn't match with who you are on a daily basis. And either that means that you would need to make some changes in your current life to pursue that, or maybe you need to make a change in terms of your career choice. The other thing I would tell you is it's important during high school to try, to experiment, determine what works and what doesn't. So like Maybe you're going after wanting to be a nurse or a doctor. Well, look at the science classes that you're taking. Look at your work ethic in your classes, because all of those things need to actually align with the amount of work and the amount of time that it's going to take to be a doctor. Look at how successful you are in science classes or whatever classes that you're looking at. Look at the core classes that align with your career choices. Look at your electives. Try those out. If you're wanting to be an engineer, maybe it's time to try physics or the engineering course. Or maybe you're wanting to go into construction. Well, try that at New Tech. Find ways to be able to volunteer in that area. Look for jobs that align with those. I know that all that can be tough, but if you don't use high school as a way to experiment with things that align with your career path, you could end up going to college or community college or a trade school, and you could find yourself really frustrated because you've never really attempted or pursued your actual career in high school, and now you're faced with it as you're paying for those things, and it can be tough. So ultimately, do your research now. So what does that mean? Well, there's kind of a process that I would encourage you to go through. Number one, it's careers. Do your research around careers. So narrow your options and then eventually make a choice. We're going to talk about that in a second. And then do your research around education. So research your educational options to get to the career. And then choose what you feel like is going to be your best fit. And then narrowing that down further, what can you do in high school to prepare or try it out, to experiment? Because sometimes if you experiment or try something out in high school and you don't like it, then you want to actually change some of those career decisions. So then you go back to the beginning, change a career decision, find new educational options for you, and then try out new things in high school. So that's an important process to go through. Now, you've got a great tool that is available to you called Zello, and I'm going to be referencing that as we go through this entire conversation, because Zello will help you do the research that you need to do. So let's talk careers. What you can do in order to try and find the careers is to take career assessments in Zello. What I would encourage you to actually take is the Matchmaker, the Personality Styles, and the Mission Complete. Learning styles, to be honest with you, is not real helpful, especially if you look at a lot of the research around learning styles. Honestly, the Matchmaker, Personality Styles, and Mission Complete will be really helpful. And as you take those career assessments, if you took those previously, you can reset those and retake them now that you're maybe a little bit more focused on wanting to actually do your research around the careers. So just know, don't try and change your answers to get the career choices that you want, because maybe you need to reflect on those the career matches that are coming through. After you take the career assessments, look through the careers that it tries to match you up with. Read information on the different careers. Watch the little videos that they have in there. Check out related careers that are listed in each of the careers. Try and get a good list of things that you feel like matches all of you, both your skills, your interests, as well as how much money that you would make. Are there jobs out there? So take the career assessments, look through the careers, and then determine what you think would be the best fit, not what you want to do. Now, I think that that's a tough part, because we in America often talk about, you can do anything you want to do, just set your mind to it, and I get that idea because America is the land of opportunity. However, you don't want to make a career decision based on just dreams. You want to make a career decision based on what is going to be a good fit for you. Look at the skills that you currently have. Are those going to match with what you're wanting to do for a career? And then what I would encourage you to do, after you come through with a list of careers that you feel like are going to be a good fit, rank them, and then determine what is your number one career that you're going to pursue right now. That can change later, but you have to start heading in some direction. Otherwise, you're kind of heading nowhere. a couple things that you can consider, different factors when you're deciding on a career. Look at the salary, look at the hours or the schedule that you would work in that job, because for some of you that will matter. Look at the location where most of those jobs are located, whether it's the area of the country or an area of town or whatever. Look at the education that's needed for those. Look at the working environment that you would be working in and on a daily basis, because you want to make sure that that working environment is something that would be appealing to you. Look at whether you'd be working outside or inside, whether you'd be interacting with people or not interacting with people. There are other things too, but those would give you some ideas of whether things are going to be a good fit for you. All of that stuff is discussed in Zello as you read through the description on the careers. So really do your research. Then rank them, then choose what your number one is. Then what you want to do is figure out what kind of education is needed for your number one career. So what kind of level, whether it's a certificate program, a 2-year AA degree, a 4-year bachelor's degree, or a professional degree like a PhD or an MD, which is a medical doctorate, or a JD, which is a Juris Doctorate, or like being a lawyer. Whatever kind of a degree or level of education that you would need. Some of them don't need an actual degree. They just need certain coursework or training or certificates or certifications. Just be looking for what level of education you need. Again, Zello explains that. And then research your educational options in Zello. If they're colleges or community colleges or tech schools, those are all in Zello. And what you can do is find ones that would get you the level of education that you would need for your career, and then rank them for best fit. You can look at financial, programmed, location size. We'll talk about a couple of those here in a second. And then look on other sites if you're looking for certificate programs or apprenticeship options. Those are also linked inside Zello at the bottom of your dashboard. So what kind of factors can you consider when you're choosing your educational options? Well, number one, it should be expense. How expensive is it? What is the cost of actually pursuing those? And then look at your degree or certificate that they would offer. Do they offer the degree that you need? If they don't offer the degree that you need or the certification you need, look elsewhere. I talked with a student not that long ago who said that they were going to go to Eastern. And I said, okay, but they don't have the program that you're looking for. And then they said, well, then I'll just change programs. Well, no, your educational choice should match your career choice, not the other way around. You shouldn't choose a career choice based on the college you want to go to. The college you want to go to should match your career options. Look at the number of years that it would take to go through it. How demanding is the educational program? Or the training program? Where's the location, the size of the school or training facility, job placement rates, all those types of things. The military might fit into that. Trade schools might fit into that. Community colleges or universities. You need to look at all of those factors, then rank them, then choose what your top ones are. You don't need to make your decision on the educational choice until really your senior year, but at least keep a ranking of those based on whatever factors are really important to you. So you're going to decide on the number one career you wanting to pursue. You want to pick and rank your educational options, and then you want to look at what can you do in high school to prepare you for that. So first and foremost, look at the courses that you take. Are you interested in going into health science? Well, then maybe you should take biomed classes. Are you looking at machining or manufacturing? Well, maybe you should take the advanced manufacturing program at SVT, or the manufacturing classes that we have at CV, or the welding program at New Tech. If you're looking at going into engineering, well, you should probably take math and physics classes at CV, maybe even our engineering program. Are you looking at going into networking? We'll take A+, networking, cybersecurity at CV. Are you interested in going to business? We'll take marketing and accounting courses at CV. You should try and match your high school courses, those courses that you're choosing to take, with what you're wanting to go into. Again, this is your way to experiment, to try out, to see if it's going to be a good fit. Then maybe even determine high school clubs that can prepare you for your career choice. Maybe even ones that will build extra skills. So again, if you're wanting to go into health science, join HOSA. If you're looking at machining or manufacturing, join Skills USA. If you're looking at engineering, join Science Olympiad. If you're looking at networking, join Cyber Patriot. If you're looking at business, join DECA or FBLA. It can go on and on and on. If you're wanting ideas for what classes you should take or what clubs you can take, then maybe go see your counselor. I'm always willing to talk through some of those options. The other counselors are as well. We want to help you align your high school experience to the educational option that you're looking at, and furthermore, the career that you're wanting to go into. When you're considering factors of things to involve yourself with in high school, consider things like how difficult are the classes or clubs? What's the time commitment that's going to be involved in that? Can you balance all your other responsibilities in life, whether that's chores or family time or all those things, with the things that you're wanting to do? Does it align with your passion, or are they just things that you're trying to do to build a resume and you hate every moment of it? Because maybe that is an indication for your career choice. However, maybe it's just an indication for the course or the club, but you want to actually really consider that. And then please make sure to think through, do you have time for fun in that too? You want to be a high school student, you want to have fun, whether that's being involved in leadership or whether that's being involved in other clubs that are mostly just for fun, or athletics, or whatever it is. You want to make sure that you have time to also be a high schooler in this. Yes, you want to pursue being future ready to find your purpose, but you also want to just enjoy your high school experience. Now, what can you do now to be really future ready? Well, we've talked through that process of researching and planning, finding that purpose. But where do you start with this? Well, the first thing you can do is just start. And honestly, sometimes that can be the hardest part. I talk with a lot of students who you can tell that they're just intimidated to make choices. That making a career choice is intimidating or scary for them because that means real life. The first thing that I want you to know is it's okay to make a choice and to change it later. It is. Absolutely. Your parents can probably give you examples about how many times that they changed their career choices, and sometimes those are later in life. Honestly, it's okay to change your mind. What makes it really difficult is if you never start heading in a direction. So I would just say, just start. Then do that research around determining what your ultimate goal is, your purpose, and then work backwards in your planning. Don't start with where you want to go after high school. Start with what you want your eventual goal, career, vocational purpose to be. Then figure out the education that's needed for that, and it might not be college. It might be the military. It might be an apprenticeship program. Keep in mind that college is not the goal. It never is the goal. It's a step to actually achieve some of the goals that you might have. And then ultimately make choices. Don't be afraid to choose. Don't be afraid to change your mind. Just get to a point where you're okay ranking things and choosing what number one is right now. And tell yourself it's okay if it changes later. Remember, Zello is a great tool to do all this research, even to keep track of the choices that you're making. I encourage you to use it. And the more you use Zello, the more you'll see how many functions there are in it. And they're adding stuff all the time. Keep adding things under the goals and plans. Keep adding and removing careers that you're either now interested in or no longer interested in. Now, if you want to look at some things that are beyond Zello, here are a couple other websites that could be helpful for you. One of which is the ONET Interest Inventory. ONET is connected with the Government Bureau of Labor Statistics, and they have a lot of good information in there. Also, the site called STEM Jobs can help you kind of find some of those in-demand STEM fields, and it might amaze you how many careers are in there that you wouldn't have initially labeled as a STEM job. Even things in the arts. So I would encourage you to check that out, and definitely check out Washington Career Bridge. Washington Career Bridge is connected with the state of Washington labor statistics, and they have so much good information about job growth in certain areas, as well as whether jobs are in demand or not. So these tools can be great. I encourage you to start with Zello. I feel like that's the best tool available to you, but these are some other resources that could be helpful. Ultimately, it's just important that you start and then reach out for help when you need it. I know that it can be intimidating to really pursue something that is bigger than just um, a class you're going to take, but this is supposed to be determining the rest of your life. Well, again, frame that as I am choosing this for now, and give yourself that room to make a to change your mind later. But just don't let that hold you back from making decisions. Reach out for help. I'm here to help you. If you want to talk through options, your counselors are here to help you too. But just start doing the research. Start making those choices. And you will probably be surprised at how fun that entire process can be.